What's up, everybody? You're watching another AMA with Onrie. I'm your host, Onrie Compan. It's great to be here with you guys. Um, I have been going through a lot of crazy things over the last couple weeks, primarily with business going so well that not only one, but multiple copies of Visanchin are going back to press. And while this is a great problem to have, it is a problem nevertheless because not only do we have to get these books uh, done and out to printers as soon as possible, but we also are running very low on books to the point where I only have enough to do two more conventions and I'm done for a little while, which is good because that's going to buy me time to get new stock in and to take care of Kickstarter fulfillment and all that stuff. But I've been also going through some personal stuff. Chris, what's going on, man? Good to see you. I've been also been going through some personal stuff too, which I'm not going to talk about on here, but for those of you who know, you know. And it's gotten me to question a lot of things. I'm at this sort of soul searching point in my life. That's crazy. Mm, my coffee did something weird this morning. But anyway, I'm at this point right now in my career where I've been kind of soul searching and thinking about what I want for myself going forward as opposed to what I feel others have expected from me. And it happens because we all go through this in life where we have moments of self doubt, wondering if what we're doing is realistic, whether or not we can pay the bills doing the kinds of things we're doing. Can we grow? Is there a glass ceiling? If so, how do we get through it? And that's sort of the whole thing that we go through as people in life. You know, like it doesn't matter what industry you're in, whether you're in comics or in something else. And especially hits you though when you have your own business because really it's life and death revolve around your decisions. And you're not out until you decide you're out. That's the God honest truth. I mean, you know, I've seen a lot of people um, hang on by the skin of their teeth in order to stay in comics, and then somehow manage to make it work. What's up, Alexander? How you doing, man? Good to see you. From LinkedIn, that's awesome. We got a new LinkedIn. We're now hooked in through LinkedIn. Victoria, how you doing? Good to see you. So, what I'm doing right now is I'm getting ready for the convention that I'm going to tomorrow. I'm going out to Minneapolis for Twin Cities Comic Con. It's a show I've never done before, and it's happening on the same weekend as Grand Rapids Comic Con. And unfortunately, I couldn't get into Grand Rapids this year, so I went for the only show that I could go for outside of that same weekend, which actually is going to be a huge show. They got a huge lineup of voice actors and actual celebrities coming in. They got the whole Lord of the Rings crew coming in. They have voice actors who are like one of my favorite TV shows, animes that I've been watching with my kid, Demon Slayer. So the guy who does the voice dubbing for the main character, I believe he's going to be there, and it seems like it's going to be a really good show, and I'm still kind of reeling and, to be honest, recovering from Baltimore Comic Con because the last few shows I did really took the wind out of me. I got sick after Motor City with just a cold, and then it just kind of turned into something else. And I've been kind of like in a weird place lately in life, so it's been kind of weird, kind of moving out of that. And so that actually makes this convention that I'm about to do really important for me because it's a show I've never done before. It's a show that I really want to prove myself in, and it's a show that I want to prove to myself that I can do because no matter how often I perform well at conventions, there's always those shows where things don't work out well. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, Baltimore Comic Con kicked me straight between the legs. It was a really hard show, and it wasn't anything wrong in particular. That show just has a history of being a certain way. But when I look at it, when I tell you guys I got kicked between the legs, how did I get kicked between the legs? Did I sell out? No. Is that a kick between the legs? Yeah, maybe it is. But did I make money at the show? Did the show pay for itself? Did I have enough to pay all my bills and to continue running my business? Yes, I did. And because that's the case, I know that I'll survive this convention and the convention afterwards. This is a really kind of a difficult part of the year because conventions are dying out because of the end of the year, but they're also ramping up too because of COVID and all these other things. So there's a lot to contend with here. And I have a lot to prove to myself right now. It's not to anyone else other than myself, that I can go out there and that I can perform my best, and that despite everything that's going on, that I want to do this, that I'm able to be out there, be present and in the moment when I'm on the convention floor, and to really have those good quality transactions with my customers, which is really important for me. Um, and and it's you guys too. It's, you know, everything we do on our live sales and everything, it all contributes to that. So I'm going to read the comments real quick, and then I'm going to get to building out stacks and giving you guys the breakdown of what we're doing. Marvin Wynn, what's going on? You were a real pleasure to come on or to meet at Baltimore Comic-Con. We're going to need to have you on my show at some point. And Alexander, I would love to be on Comic Crusaders. I've been wanting to talk to you guys for a long time. No, Edward, you don't have to be sorry at all, man. I've been super busy myself, and I honestly have not been on the air as much. I'm going to actually be taking off this week from live sales. I'll be back on next week for both CBSN and the Experience. I'll be back. I'll be doing shows as of starting next week. But yeah, I'm just going through a lot right now with deadlines and stuff like that, and you guys are busy too, so it seems like even though we're missing each other, we're really not missing each other, which is good. I'm glad to hear that you're busy. That's actually an important thing too, because if you're not busy, then you don't have money to spend with me. So, and I'm a little behind on stuff too. And if I'm being honest, I think I owe a few packages to you folks, and I'll get all that stuff sorted out probably today. As soon as I'm done with this AMA here, but yeah, it's gonna be an interesting convention this weekend. I'm excited to be a part of it. They gave me a really nice booth space too. I got like a corner booth, so I have two angles to work off of, which is really good. That gives me a very distinctive advantage on the convention floor, and that's kind of what I want to go for, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's an interesting setup, you know. It's like I'm going to expect that this show is probably going to be on the same level as Grand Rapids. Maybe it'll be a little bit different. Maybe it'll be worse. Maybe it'll be better. You know, it's like you can never really know until you get out there. And that's the thing about conventions is like, you know, how do you define a good convention versus a bad convention? Well, it honestly has nothing to do with what you bring. Like it has a lot to do with you showing up. That's going to determine a lot of things. But also a lot of things are out of your hands when it comes to conventions. I say that all the time. There's so many elements that are completely out of your control. And you kind of have to learn how to navigate through all that by just kind of dealing with what comes your way and figuring out how to make the wisest decisions to keep yourself in the best frame of mind while you're working the show. Yeah, dude, you're awesome. You gave me a really good review for Easton Shin a long time ago, and I appreciate that. Can you believe it? The book is still in print. And see, that's something I've been thinking about lately. It's like, wow, you know, so many creators have moved on to like several different projects. Like they've done so many different books at this point in their career. A lot of my contemporaries at this point have worked for everyone. They've worked for Marvel. They worked for DC. They worked for Image. They got books. They got everything with all these they got movie deals. They got everything. And here I am still hawking the same book and literally the same book. But that was my decision, and it was something that I chose to do because I believe in the story that I'm telling, and I want to get as many copies of it out there as possible. And I feel the same way about Mark's. Mark, this is pretty much it. This haul that I'm bringing with me to Minnesota, plus another 10 copies. That's all I got left of Mark's. I am completely fresh, out of stock, done. This book is out of print, which is pretty crazy It's a pretty crazy situation. I didn't expect this to be the case, but it is. And I'm going to keep this book in print too. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but that's something I'm going to be figuring out right now. And why you guys are seeing a little bit less of me on live stream shows is because I have to think about how am I going to keep all this stuff in print, and how am I going to get it quick enough? Because right now things are starting to get back on track, sure, but there was a point where there were paper shortages and tariffs from printing with companies that are located overseas, and that's the dilemma I'm facing with Easton Shin right now. They're anticipating that Hunter and Destroyer 2 copies will be here by November 22nd, meaning they'll arrive on shore by the 22nd. Until I get those books in and I see that they have arrived without me getting any kind of penalty or anything like that, which supposedly everything that I paid for should have covered the cost of the actual tariffs and everything. So I'm not supposed to get hit with anything, but I can't know until I know. So once I get those books, then I'll know for sure. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this stuff makes it hard running your own business, but it's also a lot of fun. I enjoy doing it. It's a real sincere pleasure to be able to go out into the world and to engage with people and tell them about Easton Shin and why the story matters so much to me. Sometimes it is kind of hard because I'm always pitching the same people over and over again, the same book, the same everything, but it goes a little bit more than that. I kind of realize after doing some thinking. It's not that I'm just simply pitching over and over again. I'm finding new ways to connect with new people. And my pitch is always refining. And it's fast. It's a fast pitch. I can pitch Easton Shin in 15 seconds flat. And one of the things I've kind of learned from going to Baltimore is that I kind of need to slow down a little bit because sometimes I can go really, really fast and really push things forward. Oh, no, I was on the phone with somebody else. That's why I didn't pick up your call. Once I'm done, I'll buzz you back. Kyle, hi. My EXP producer is asking me why I didn't pick up the phone for him. Is it less expensive through a printer overseas? I've heard the artists work for cheaper. Yeah, it's cheaper to yes, right. I've already done that. That happened actually. I spilled coffee on my books at Baltimore Comic Con, which sucked. But yes, it is cheaper to print overseas. But that's not the only reason why I'm printing overseas. I'm printing overseas because I've developed a good relationship with the printer out there, and they do a really good job. I'm happy with the quality of the printing, and they haven't let me down yet. We've been using them for 12 years now, so it's been a great working relationship. I've worked with other printers too, particularly with our hardcovers because my printer in China, he does really expensive hardcovers. But so far, I've been hearing a lot of people are using other overseas printers like Print Ninja, and actually the creator of Lycan, he used Print Ninja, and he's been really happy with them. So have no I don't know. I mean, a lot of people like Transcontinental. That's who Marvel and DC use. And there's also Comics Wellspring and Comics Impressions and things like that. I don't have any experience working with these companies. But you never know what could happen down the road. Like if things go really bad right now and I don't get my books, or if I get hit with like a heavy tariff, well, then I might be going to Comics Wellspring or Comic Impressions and seeing what they can offer me, But if I can make it work with the guy who knows how to print my stuff, then that's easier for me. I can just send him files and it's like, boom, done. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And speaking of everything, this will be the last AMA that I do with you guys for a while, because I'm actually going to be moving this over to, I'm doing a lot of restructuring and a lot of rethinking right now. And we're going to be doing AMAs on. I'm going to be bringing that platform over to my Patreon and really kind of building more around doing more exclusive things so that I can show you guys like more behind the scenes stuff of what's going on and the day-to-day activities. Show you guys some of the art progress, kind of show you things that me and the creative team are doing to enhance storytelling and using very specific examples that don't interfere with the story and all that. But this has been what's the challenging thing about these last couple weeks is going back and refining everything for the reprints. And it's not fun work because I'm revisiting old work for like the 3,000th time. And it's necessary because, we're out of bucks. I don't even have enough to fulfill for Kickstarter. So, and I've done I've had, I would say my entire career in comics has been quite unconventional. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, that book with the Yusuf Shin with the Yusuf Shin appearance, that was really cool. I really liked meeting that guy. He was a customer of mine who was Korean. He was native Korean, and he was like really shocked to see that we made a book about Yusuf Shin. He showed me that there was that book that Charlton Press put out, and it was really cool. Kyle was there, and he saw it all unfold before his eyes. It's been interesting. Finding that out has been interesting, but it's not technically the first appearance of Yusuf Shin. He is only mentioned in that book, but he is mentioned and his name is spelled the exact same way that we spell his name in the series, which is really cool. And that was 30 years before, or more than 30 years, I would say 40 years before we even put out our book. So hold on, I want to actually see how long ago that was. Let's get an exact year count. Let's bust out the old trusty calculator. So the original book was published in, I think, 1969. So 40 years prior to me making the series, a Korean artist did this story for Charlton, and it was called Ghostly Tales, and it was about a Korean soldier who had escaped from an attack by the Japanese, and was basically running for shelter. And he meets this like woman who like takes him in, and she tells him that she'll protect him from the Japanese so long as he marries her sister. And her sister ends up being a ghost, and it's a scary story. But it's a story that was probably, if I had to guess, told in order at the time to encourage future generations never to try and evade battle for the sake of your own safety. Like if you're gonna die for your country, kind of a thing. And especially in the case of Korea, because they were in a situation not dissimilar to what's going on right now in the Ukraine. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's what I love so much about the story of Yusuf Shin is the fact that this guy was the real deal. I mean, imagine going up against those odds. It's pretty insane. And it never gets old for me to tell that story over and over again to people. Even if I tell it too fast or too slow, it's really what I enjoy doing, why I get up in the morning. It is the why of me. But Kyle did give me some good tips though on ways to kind of like slow down a little bit in between each pitch. And I'm curious to see if that'll work this weekend while I'm at the show. And I'm just excited to get back out there. Kind of dreading it at first, if I'm being honest, just because of how crummy I've been feeling. But and plus, it's always hard to part ways with Mr. Bentley here. So he's taking his little dog nap, but he's going to say hi real quick. He's like, hey, everybody. I pity the fool who woke me up in my nap. Why you wake me up in my nap, fool? What's going on? Mr. Ragusa, I will send it out. Sounds badass. What was the title, issue number of the book? I want to read it. I will have a copy for sale next week, Edward, and I'll look for another one this weekend. It's really not an expensive book. I got the original printing for like $20 in a near mint. It still hasn't reached me yet, but it's on its way, and that's good. That's all that matters to me. So I really want that book, the original printing. So the one that I got at the con was actually a reprint, and that was reprinted in 1975. The art style in the book was also very interesting too. It was sort of like a Bill Sienkiewicz type of style that was more under the influence of Neil Adams than anything. Like imagine early Sienkiewicz, like Moon Knight Sienkiewicz. It was that kind of style, and it was really great. The artist, his name is San Ho Kim. That's S-A-N Ho Kim. And I guess he was, he was a Korean-based artist that got work in the States. And it's pretty cool that he was able to, bring Yi Sun-shin to the States in that way through a cool ghost story. But here's what also makes an appearance in the book is the turtle ship. So technically, the dragon ships that we have in our books, I thought this was the first appearance of them. They actually show up in that Scary Tales book, just drawn from the side and profile, which is really cool. You don't see them in action, but you do see them nevertheless. And actually, they were all destroyed in that battle that took place over there. So it was more of like a stylistic thing to include them in there. Because at that point, all the turtle ships were sunk and, destroyed. And it wasn't until Yi Sun-shin resumed command of the Navy that he was able to rebuild it to its former glory and get more turtle ships built. And that's kind of what we're building towards in Hunter and Destroyer now. So if you guys have read the first chapter of that, we see that Yi Sun-shin was able to rebuild the Navy in a really short span of time because he had a lot of assistance from the Chinese military. Back then, they were called the Ming. It was the Ming Empire. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he had basically rebuilt his entire fleet within a year after having it completely destroyed, and that was quite miraculous. Like, no matter how hard people would have worked, there was no way they could have done it without the manpower. And the fact that they had assistance from China at that point was kind of like it was like a double-edged sword, because on one hand, the China wanted the war to end, and they kind of played a role similar to us in the sense, or like NATO, in the sense that they were already involved in the war, but they kind of knew that Japan didn't have the muscle to press onwards into their country, because they certainly tried and eventually succeeded in World War II. And they didn't really have the kind of pullback then. So the Chinese kind of realized that, and they're like, well, let's just keep the war in Korea and let it die out on its own. Like, eventually they'll just get tired and want to leave. And that was a kind of like a duplicitous message for the Koreans, because the Koreans depended on them for help. And essentially the Chinese Navy helped rebuild the Korean Navy, and then said, well, hey, we're going to negotiate and make peace with the Japanese so that we can put this war to an end, because enough people died. But at that point, Yi Sun-shin was so angry about the fact that the Japanese were coming and going as they pleased that he was like, no, they're not leaving alive this time. Every single soldier that is in my country right now is going to die. And we'll see if we'll see how he pulls it off, because he actually does. He made the Japanese he punished them real bad before they left Korea. Adam Downing, what's up, my brother? How you doing, man? Adam Downing is the creator of a really cool comic book and the title of it is skipping my mind right now, but his books were featured last week on Kicking It and are really awesome. So I recommend you guys check him out. And Adam, feel free to drop a link for your stuff. Let us know where we can learn more about you. He's a really solid career. I met a lot. That's the one thing I have to say made Baltimore Comic Con a huge success was the people that I met out there. Uh, you know, it's really a place to forge really strong relationships with fellow creators and other people in the industry. Um, it's an industry-wide event. It's not like just another comic convention. The comic convention aspect of it is second to the industry-wide aspect of it. It's only at this show that you can like go to a bar and hang out with like Garth Ennis, like willy nilly. I think Kyle also met um, Frank Miller over there. I was chatting with Frank Miller for a little while. 7. And 10. Oh man. So this is gonna be an interesting show. I still don't even know where I'm heading out tomorrow. I'm kind of taking it nice and easy just because I've been on the road a lot lately too, and it's been really just exhausting, just the amount of driving I've been doing. Especially the trip to Baltimore it took a lot of energy out of me to make the drive and then getting back. It made me not want to do any more road shows. Any taste I had for it is now evaded me completely. But this show I'm looking forward to. I've kind of built myself up to being excited about it. And we're getting there. We are getting there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And David Moore's in the house with some Glandex. Glandex! You can't take the X out of Glandex. We're going to have to reference that again. This is a Bentley likes to do this thing called scooting, where he, in order to scratch his ass, he has to sit down on his butt, look up in the air, and twist his entire body in a circular motion. He's actually been doing it less since I've been giving him Glandex, so it's actually working. Trace Adkins. Yisun Shin consulted David Moore for advice. That's exactly what happened. Yisun Shin wears David Moore brief boxers before going to bed every night. And it protects his nards. Nard protection. For her pleasure. So here's a question for you guys since we're doing AMA. Are you guys who's excited about this new Black Panther movie? I'm pretty excited about it. I don't know if I can wait until I get back to watch it even. I don't want to might even just see it while I'm in Minnesota. Minnesota! In the state of Minnesota! What do you guys all think of Namor? He doesn't even go by Namor anymore. He goes by Namor. Namor. Namor! Oh, boy. Someone out there is insulted right now, and you know what? I'm not sorry about it. You can kiss my fat. Hey! All right. All right, let's see how many stats we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, good. On track. 3 more stacks and we're good. And this is crazy because this is it. You know, I can't believe. I think this is like and I've never really, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I've never kept track of how many printings I've done of any of my single issues. I just keep them in press and I just keep pushing them out there and putting them out there because my goal has always been to get as many copies of Yushin out there as possible. And I broke the rules. You know, I think I broke the rules in other ways too. Sometimes I'm sorry about it. I don't like breaking rules. It's not something I ever intend to do. But the one thing I realized about comics is there's no one way to do comics. You do comics in a way that makes sense for you, where there's heart put into what you're doing. And a toe is a toe, and a row is a row. And if you don't got no toes, we don't got no rows. And that's how it works. Also sold out. I'm completely sold out of my Tales from the Crypt books too. I have maybe one or two left, which is really wild. I don't even know what to do. I don't even think there's a point for me to even bring it with me. All right, we're getting to that point now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's check the comments here. Yeah, I'm excited to see Ironheart too. Yeah, I think it's hard without Chadwick too. But I also think that it's going to be a pretty emotional movie. You know, that's what I've been hearing. I've been hearing nothing but raving. Everybody's been raving about how great it is. And apparently, I don't know anything. I don't want to say anything, but there are rumors out there that Dr. Doom might be making an appearance in this movie, which will be really freaking amazing. I really hope they do that. We've needed Doom for a long time. And I'd love to see him and Namor team up. But this Namor seems so different. And he was the right character to bring an indigenous background to. But I wonder, here's my fear of it, does his indigenous background outshine him as a character? And so far, I'm not seeing that that's the case. It feels like it's a real authentic origin story, what they've done with him. So I'm excited about that. You know, because he's always been part human. 5, 6, 7, 8. And they connected him to the serpent god, Kukulkan. And that's like a real serpent god. And I think it's cool that they connected Namor to that. But apparently he's as strong as the Hulk and Thor in the movie too. Which he was in the comics as well. He's really powerful. And he's the first Marvel hero. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not the first. Well, Human Torch was, but he was the second. First is the worst, second is the best. That's what I got to say to all you Namor fans out there. And who can't be a fan of Namor with those briefs and the feathered ankles? You know, everybody loves that. Greatest thing ever. Feathered ankles make life so much better. Makes life so much more tolerable. That's how I feel. How about comics? What have you guys picked up in terms of comics this week? Actually, I need to stop by my LCS and pick up some stuff. They do a 30th anniversary Death of Superman. All right, we're getting there. All right, this is it. 2, 3, and 4. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, looks like I got another issue. 2 there. All right, so what do we got here? We have 600 single issues here, broken up into 150 copies of issues 1 through 4 apiece. So that's 150 times 4. Then I have plus 60 graphic novels, plus another 200 copies of Fallen Avengers 1 through 4. So that's 50 copies of each book, plus another 50 of Hunter and Destroyer #1. And then plus we got 40 Marks books. So we have 950 books here to sell this weekend. That's going to, if I can pull this off, this will make it our 150th convention sellout. 105th convention sellout, not 50. Still got a while to go to that. But I'm excited about that. I'm excited about everything. This is going to be an interesting convention this weekend. And I appreciate you guys showing up here for this AMA. And I'm going to read the comments real quick, and then I'm going to head out. Yeah. I've been totally burned out by the MCU as well. Yeah, I'm burnt out as well. I totally understand how you feel on that, Edward. I'm kind of there with you. Like Black Adam's been out, but just haven't cared to watch it. I'll tell you what I have watched though is season 2 of Demon Slayer, and it is fucking awesome. You guys need to watch it. It is so good. I love Demon Slayer, and you guys should totally check that out. Great show. It's on the first season's on Netflix, and then there's a movie, and then a second season that's on Hulu, and it's all phenomenal stuff. So, all right, guys. Well, this is the end of my show this afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning in and for being here for me. I really appreciate it. Lately, I know I've been off and kind of in my own little place. I appreciate how understanding everyone has been about that. And just want to let you guys know that I'm always thinking about you and ways to make things better, our experiences and our time together better. So once I get it all figured out and rolling again, the good times are coming. So I will see you guys next week. And I will be on the front lines as of Friday. So if you're in the Minneapolis, Minnesota area, be sure to stop by and say hi. See you guys later. Have a good one.